Hi friends, today we're going to do my less than 10-minute writing exercise that will improve your writing by expanding your vocabulary. I came up with this little quick exercise years ago when I wanted to increase my vocabulary and just kind of get out of a rut that I was in with my writing. I just felt my word choice and my writing was becoming stilted and kind of uninspired. So that's why I came up with this exercise. It's a fun little exercise. It takes less than 10 minutes. I select 3 words from the dictionary, usually words that have interesting meanings, or they have a certain resonance to how they sound. And certainly you want to choose words that help with the clarity of how you want to express yourself with your writing. So, don't just pick words to be picking words because, you think, oh, that's going to make you sound intelligent. That's not the reason behind this. This is so you can understand and you can expand your vocabulary to where you have these words to pull from when you want to be more exact and clear in your writing and maybe add a little beauty to your writing. Anyway, the 3 words I've selected today for us to play around with are plummet, stellar, and drove. We're going to use each one of these words in a sentence and see what we can come up with for each of these words. I will give you general definitions, but I've also included links below to Merriam-Webster's website where you can find the formal definitions and pronunciations. Let's get started and just have a little fun with this. Let's get started with plummet and see what we come up with. And plummet can either be a verb, an action word, or it can be a noun, a word that represents a person, place, or a thing. And plummet simply means to drop sharply. All right, I'm going to first use it as a verb and see what kind of sentence I can come up with. All right, here's what I came up with for plummet as a verb. With the drop in consumer demand, prices plummeted. So you can imagine these prices dropped sharply when there were less people buying whatever they're trying to sell, because you have to have consumer demand. Otherwise you're going to have to change your prices in order to sell whatever you're trying to sell. Anyway, let's move on to plummet as a noun and see what I can come up with. All right, here's what I got for plummet as a noun. The rope caught and stopped his plummet. So this is plummet as a noun. Plummet as a thing dropped his fall. He's falling, dropping sharply. So this fellow is either rock climbing or hiking or something, and maybe there's a cliff and he grabbed some rope, or he had some rope maybe tied to another person or a rock or whatever. But anyway, it caught and it stopped him from falling. Anyway, that is plummet as a noun. Now let's move on to stellar. And stellar is an adjective, a word that describes, and it means relating to an outstanding performance or relating to the stars. Okay, let me see what I can come up with for stellar. All right, here's what I came up for stellar. The opening night of the play, she had a stellar performance. So you can imagine there's this play that's its opening night, and this actress did this outstanding performance. So she did very well. That is stellar. Let's move on to drove. And drove is a noun, a word that represents a person, place, or a thing. And drove means a large number or a crowd. Okay, let me see what I can come up with for drove. All right, here's what I came up with for drove. They came in droves to the store's grand opening. So you can imagine the store's opening. I'm sure many of us have gone to a grand opening for a store, and there's just tons of people that are excited to be there. They want to see what kind of sales are there, whatever. But they came in droves in a large numbers. And I think if you look up in Merriam-Webster's website, when you use droves as a plural, when you're adding an S in the end, typically it also goes with the word in. So the preposition in. So usually those accompany each other. So you're saying in droves. You've probably heard that saying, or that those two words used together before. Anyway, 3 wonderful, interesting words: plummet, stellar, and drove. If you're unfamiliar with these words, use them in a sentence. Play around with them. Make them part of you so they're accessible to you when you write. If you enjoyed this writing exercise, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy writing.